Hi guys, it's me, MicheleMarieDalene, telling you this is the 1st of April, and I know that some of you guys like to joke about April Fool's Day being kind of stupid. I'm one of them. Alright, now, today we're going to talk about something that is not meant to be stupid, and we're trying to be very sincere about it, and that is my eyesight and my handicaps in my eyesight. Today, we're going to discuss is what is albinism and what is ocular albinism. Well, first of all, albinism is where pigment is lacking usually in the skin and the hair, but it also, of course, affects the iris of the eye as well, which results in high sensitivity to light. Now, I have ocular albinism, which is a little different because mostly it's my eyes that are as albino type eyes. However, my skin is definitely lighter, and my hair is also lighter. Naturally, my hair is like a light to medium brown. It looks kind of like dishwater brown. It's kind of nasty looking. So, like I always like my hair bleached because I like it white anyway. Sometimes the camera doesn't look white, and I apologize for that. Anyway, the reason why we're in the old studio, or the new old studio, is because it turns out that because of my ocular albinism, that when I try to look at something from a distance, I squint, and I kind of don't like looking like that on camera. It's hard enough when you are trying to project an image of professionalism, that when your eyes create problems for you. Now, some of the things that ocular albinism and albinism cause is three things: nystagmus, highlight sensitivity, and often legal blindness. Legal blindness is vision of less than 2200 with correction. Now, my vision is about 2200, so I'm right there on that line. I also have a cataract in my right eye, which has nothing to do with albinism, but unfortunately, because I'm very sensitive to ultraviolet light, including ultraviolet light from the sun, as well as from certain types of light sources like DCFLs, that can exacerbate cataracts as well. So that's kind of where it happens to be, where the eyesight is that no, they cannot do laser surgery to fix it, because as one ophthalmologist explained, you can't hit a moving target like that with nystagmus. Nystagmus is when the eyes go back and forth like they do in my case. They kind of wiggle back and forth like this, and some people find that very, very irritating. I can assure you that it certainly makes it harder for us too. Our eyes, of course, our brain and our eyes are matched, so our brain has naturally compensated for that nystagmus to do the equivalent of sampling, if you will. It's kind of complicated to explain, but basically what it means is that my brain and my eyes have worked out a system where they almost like take a snapshot, and then they, just like a computer does, and then it just takes a snapshot, compares it to another snapshot and another snapshot, and tries to come on up. Good job with the claws, are sharp. That they cause the eyes to have to try to figure out the best picture. Now, since there's no treatment for LASIK, you cannot do it very well on people with ocular albinism, especially not with nystagmus. If you don't have nystagmus, your rate of success with LASIK may very well be possible, but maybe someday some eye techniques may actually be created that can actually work on people with nystagmus, possibly using some kind of a computer-controlled system that syncs the laser with the person's eyeball movements. But for now, it's just not an option. The same is true with my cataract in my right eye. They cannot fix it with surgery either. And the phone's ringing. Okay. So they cannot fix a cataract on a person with nystagmus any easier than they can do LASIK. For the same reason, the eye just moves around too much. An ophthalmologist trying to do incision to do the procedure would find himself potentially causing more damage than intended. And so for that reason, people who have cataracts and nystagmus really may not be a good candidate for cataract surgery. Okay. Now, that doesn't say always, I said most cases, okay, depending on how severe the nystagmus is. Now, the other thing is that people tend to think that when they see me in the street, some people think, they ask me why I squint so much in the sun. Well, I squint because the light's bright and it makes my eyes hurt. And some people even said to me, well, you can't see worth a damn. Are you sure those glasses are helping any? The truth is my eyeglasses help a tiny bit, but they don't really fix the problem as well as they could. I do have astigmatism as well. And as I said, I am legally blind. I have severe myopia. Unfortunately, with a cataract in my right eye was the better eye. I can't see on my right eye anymore. So I have to use my left eye for everything. When I look on my right eye, it's like looking through a haze. I can sort of see what I'm looking at, but I cannot see the details. I can barely see the outlines, silhouettes of the shapes of the things around me in my right eye. My left eye is definitely 2200 with correction, and that's as best I could ever get it. Now, I used to have contact lenses when I was in high school, and my eyes were better, and they did help some, but they really, again, were very difficult to use because they were a very strong prescription. So I'm also very self-conscious on camera with my glasses on. That's one of the reasons I take them off. But that also, of course, means that for you guys, you have to bear with the eyes as they are. Now, coming up in the next few days, I'm going to be getting my hair redone again. So you can start to see the roots are starting to come in. Sorry about that. It grows so fast. But that's not the topic of this discussion. Now, I can see color. I have very excellent night vision. I can see in the dark where people can't. Okay, so my night vision is fantabulous. Okay, and so I have been blessed by being able to see when there just has not been enough light for most people to see. I can be walking around almost like it's daytime. Because my skin is that of an albino. My skin burns really easy in this dark sun, so I tend to stay in the shade. Or, since I prefer being a nocturnal person, I prefer to be awake at night and sleep in the day. So what I do is I will go to bed at 6 a.m. or so and sleep until about 2 to 3, 4 o'clock. And then when the sun goes down, I go out there when possible to do my chores. Unfortunately, sometimes some things have to be done in the daytime, even when the light is still pretty harsh. For that reason, I try to remain out of the sun as much as I can. That doesn't mean I don't go in the sun. It just means that I make it quick because my skin lacks the protection from the ultraviolet UVB. I believe it's a UVB, or is it UVC? Now, UVA is probably UVA too. I lack all three. So, I need to, be very careful when I'm in the sun. I love winter, as you know. It's part of the reason is because it's beautiful, but also because majority of the time in the winter the sun is not as high in the sky, and it's kind of off on the horizon where I live. So in the wintertime, we have longer nights, so which means I can be out and doing more chores and things like that, and more common hours. And so in the wintertime, I tend to have more of a rural type lifetime where I go out there and do things in the day. And then once the sun gets hot and summer kicks in, I switch to full nocturnal because the sun's too bright and it's too hot for me because I'm also heat intolerant as well. So that's the reason why I do what I do. Lastly, since we might as well talk about anyway, is my hearing handicaps because they are also just as irritating as my cataract. I have progressive hearing loss. I have mentioned that in a couple of my other videos. I have a very difficult time hearing certain voices because either they're too deep and my brain can't process deep voices. It cannot process low frequencies. Unfortunately, it's the most common problem. Or if it's a female voice, I do fine. Depending on the female's voices, she's more like an alto or soprano like myself, I can do great. But when it's a deeper woman, not so much. Okay. I do have a TTD for the deaf, which I have 2 of them actually. I have 3 because I have the IntelliModem, which is on my PowerMac G5, and I have another spare IntelliModem, which right now I haven't figured out what I'm going to do with it yet. And I have a portable Ameriphone TDD as well, so I have all 3. The ones hooked up to my computer, I have the computer set up to be very large text. It makes it easy for me to see it really well. And I have the font set so that it's using a character font that I find comfortable with, which is monospaced characters. And for me, it just works. I mean, it's not a perfect interface because there are things with my PowerMac G5's keyspin serial to USB converter that sometimes leads to deficiencies, but that's because the keyspins was never really figuring you're going to use it for something like this. So certain control lines are not being activated. I don't think it's the RTS and CTS that's the problem, but I could be wrong on that. But given at the speed rate we're talking about, which is at 45.5 characters per second in baud out, actually it's bits per second, or the software says you set the modem to 300 bits per second, and it then figures out the rest to make best use of the software. I have a friend who had the same modem I do. He set his for the same rates I did, so I set his the same way at 300 bits per second. No parity, even parity, one stop at 7E1. But that just works for me. But because of my eyesight and hearing combined, it makes it a lot more difficult for me to do a lot of things. It's amazing to see me do videos on YouTube because I have to try to work on the edge of my performance to make my videos and look good. And it takes a lot of work to do that. And but I love doing it, and I love trying to reach out to you. And I'd love to hear from you too. Besides saying I'm ugly, because I'm not ugly. I'm really a beautiful person at heart. I mean, I'm a very caring, giving person. I love everybody. I always have. I guess you could say I'm the snow queen with a heart, and it's not made of ice. But the truth is that I take the time to do these videos, and despite all my handicaps, is that I still do them because I love reaching out to you. So maybe someday soon, you and I could have a two-way conversation. So if you feel like leaving me a comment or message, either on Google Plus or YouTube or Facebook or Blogger, please do. Okay, I would love to hear from you. So until after the 3rd, when I get my hair done, we will meet again. I'll see you soon. Bye bye, everybody.